story of a man.
스토리 스킵잇! 뭐야 왜 이렇게 부드러워. 게임을 다시 시작. 됐어. 뭐야 스토리 다시 안 나와요? 안 돼! 감독 왜 이렇게 다시 들어가면 뭔가 보여줄 거야. 잘 봐. 역시 됐어. 이 얘기는 스탠리라는 남자의 이야기입니다. 큰 건물에 있는 회사에서 427번 직원으로 일하고 있었어요. 427번의 직원의 일은 간단했어요. 키보드 한 책상에 앉아 키보드를 버튼을 누르는 거였죠. 정말 간단하네. 책상 위에 있는 모니터를 통해 어떤 버튼을 얼마 동안 눌러라 순서대로 하라는 지시가 내려왔어요. 직원이 매년, 매월, 매일 하는 일이었죠. 영혼 없는 일이라고 생각할 수도 있지만 태어난 듯 주문이 내려오는 매 순간을 즐겼어요. 야, 이게 진정한 월급 루팡 아니냐 이거? Was happy. Happy, happy, happy. 아주 희한한 일이 생겼어요. The Stanley Parable. 스탠리는 영원히 바꿔놓을 일. 읽지 못할 일이었죠.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions.
소집하거나 인사하러 들린 사람도 아무도 없었어요.
Never in all his years of the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
뭐야, 세상이 멸망됐어?
Clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
정신을 차리고 마음을 가다듬은 후 일하는 책상에서 일어나서 사무실을 나섰어요. 이제 이러고 시작이야. 시안을 해놓고 감도가 조금 많이 빠르긴 하네요. 어쩔 수 없지만 어쩔 수 없다. 이대로 해야겠네요. 가보도록 합시다. 굉장히 빠른걸? 감도가?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
회의실에 가보기로 했어요. 회의실이 어디지? 에스카님 4,000원 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 회의실이 어딘겨? 녹화 중이긴 해.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽에 있는 문으로 들어갔어요. 일단은 지시에 따라봐야지. 안 돼! 아씨. 문을 열어주지 않는군. 공포 게임 아니죠 이거?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
disbelief,
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
사람이 한 명도 없대. How to solve a using slide to assure employee. Everyone is unique. You must all of all. Number of slide one this slide. 여러분들 집중해 주세요. 지금부터 제가 이 슬라이드를 읽어보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 여러분들 자 졸지 마시고요. 눈을 뜨시고 탁스. 자, 이상입니다. 감사합니다. 문이 닫아지네. Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
편안하다. 후. 이 안이 참 아늑하고 좋군요.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
뭐가 바뀐 느낌인데? 청소도 가면 아무것도 없었어요. 뭐야, 스플릿? 뭔가 자꾸 나온다. 호호. 자, 나 여 안에 가만히 있을 터이니 또 뭐라도 떠들어 보거라 이 자식.
Are you really still in the broom closet, standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation.
설명을 해보라고요? 야, 너 같으면 아무것도 모르는 이 회사에서 돌아다니다가 죽는 것보단 여기 안에 가만히 앉아가지고 조금 더 온기를 느끼는 게 낫지 않겠어?
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet,
뭐야, 이 친구 나한테 말 건다.
had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no
그래요?
significance to the story. What?
스토리 전개상에 아무 의미가 없겠어.
I never would have thought to mention it.
그래요? 하지만 한국인이라면 이거 참지 못하지. 자, 난 여기 쪼그려 앉아있다. 넌 뭐라고 할 거지?
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you
이 자식 내가 방송을 하고 있는 걸 잘 알고 있군.
Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite. I hope your friends find this concerning.
야, 너희들 청소 연구함 엔딩 봤냐? 나는 지금 보고 있는 것 같은데. 뚱뚱하고 못생겼고 미련했다고요? 가족 연줄로 마약을 팔아 돈을 썼거나 매춘 중독자요? 야, 싸가지 없는 놈아, 어떻게 주인공한테 그렇게 심한 욕을 할 수가 있어? 매우 확실한 결론에 도달했다고요? 나 죽었어요? 도쪽 둘러보고 아무것도 없게 떠나려던 참에 신체적 질병이 찾아와 중추신경계가 차단하고 바닥에 쓰러졌어요? 그래요? 아니, 이런 삭바가지 없는 친구를 봤나? 야, 나 지금 두 눈 똑바로 뜨고 멀쩡히 살아있는 거 안 보여?
They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person
비디오 게임이라는 걸 알고 있구나, 나레이션이. 아이러니, 정찰리기는 해설을 만들어내는 의게. 야, 플레이어한테 인신공격하는 거 봐라. 이 싹 바가지 없는 나레이션을 봤나? 안 가. 네가 뭐라고 할 때도 나는 네가 뭐라고 얘기하고 나에게 사과할 때까지 이 방에서 단 한 발자국도 나가지 않겠어. 너 어차피 너는 혼자서 시간을 기다리며 보내겠지만 나는 여기 시청자들과 함께 채팅해서 이야기하면 되거든. 뭐라고 해보시지, 자식. 그 와중에 나는 이거 네가 그러고 있는 거는 난 방제 좀 바꿀게. 기다려봐. 스탠리 패러블. 뜨르뜨뜨. The Stanley The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe 업데이트 됐어. 아무것도 없나? 까꿍.
언니 청소도구함 엔딩 봤어? 청소도구함 엔딩 대박이더라.
하하하하하. 이 자식, 넌 나에게 낚였어. 사람 천치지 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 역시 이 자식. 복도로 나가라고 했을 때 나갔다가 말을 듣자마자 바로 들어오면 네가 아무것도 못할 줄 알았지, 이 자식. 그래요? 자식. 하하. 쓱. 일로 나가면 왠지 못 돌아올 것 같은데. 아 그래 솔직히 청소 연구하면 들어갈 만한 마이들 같다. 자식아 내가 그럴 줄 안 돼. 아 밀린다. 안 돼. 아으 밀렸네 결국. 에이 위층을 따라 올라갔다고요? 오따. 오, 이 시뻘건 불은 뭐요?
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
왜요?
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange
이상하게 관찰되기
observations.
시작했다고요?
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself. This is
무시하고 직진해본다. 난 나레이션의 말을 다 거역하겠어.
At last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
오.
I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
This is all a
What
dream.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying
It's
and began to gently
dream.
float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing?
Hey.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
뭔가 다른 데로
How could
왔다.
it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
조용히 하세요.
He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
조용히 눈을 감으면서
He felt the cool wave
안 돼, 눈을 떠.
The press
눈을
of the
떠.
mattress on his back.
난 아직 잘 수 없어.
Fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
눈을 떠.
I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
Hey.
That's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal.
눈을 떠라 내 안에 잠긴 미래랑 잠시라도 이야기할 시간이 없어 할 수 있어 눈을 떴어.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have
Hey,
a boss. I have an office.
끝난 게
I'm
아니에요?
real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am
아인도?
I? And everything went black.
등. Oh wow.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
그래요?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed,
Uh-huh.
gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by
뭐야?
the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking
뭐야,
and
스탠리
screaming
죽었어?
to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance,
어허.
for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
에?
Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
이 나레이션이
And
나를
in that
미친 사람으로
moment,
만드네.
She thought to herself how lucky
이
she
자식이요?
was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
갑자기 죽음?
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man. made her
갑자기
feel
생각이 위안이
better.
되고 시체를 보고 갑자기 기분이
Then she
좋았어?
remembered the meeting
아니,
she
이
had
미친
scheduled
여자 아니야,
for
이거?
that day. The very
저기요, 네 눈앞에
important
사람이
people
쓰러져
whose
있잖아요.
impressions of her would affect her career.
119에 전화부터 해!
The
자식아!
life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment
저기요!
that she stood there,
아줌마!
staring down at the body, and then she turned and ran.
예? 이게 엔딩 하나야 지금.
All of his co-workers were gone.
좋아.
What
이렇게
could it
엔딩이
mean?
여러 개라고.
Stanley decided to
좋아.
go to the
이번에는
meeting.
순순히
Perhaps
말을
he simply
따라가
missed a memo.
봐야겠구만.
When Stanley came to a set
왼쪽
of
문으로
two
들어갔어요.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
자, 순순히 따라갔어요.
Yet there was not a single person
아무도
here
없었어요.
either.
좋아요.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided, oh no, not again. I won't
Yes,
be
yes,
part of this.
yes.
I'm not going to encourage you.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
상사의
office.
사무실이 있는 위층으로 올라갔습니다. 캬, 상사 사무실은 뭐가 이렇게 반딱반딱하니 뭐가 이게
Stepping
널찍하고
into
막.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
야,
not an
뭐 이렇게
indication of
번쩍번쩍하나,
any
어쩐다,
human
이.
life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk
Keypad.
guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping
Terrible
from him.
truth.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
2845.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad.
와우,
Stanley
정말
happened to
우연히
enter
알아냈군.
the
쩐다.
correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
와우.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
와우. 와우, fantastic. 와우. 와우. 와, 이런 우연히 내게 오나 봐. 네 향기가 보여. 내 같이 오나 봐. 와우.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
오래지 않아 풀릴 거래요. 와우. 일단 차근차근 따라가
Stanley
보는
walked straight
것이.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control Facility. 와우. 기가 막히는구만.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place
Horrible
hold?
secrets.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I have the power. I have the power. 헤이. 보자. 버튼을 눌러볼 만한 게 이거 하나밖에 없군.
Now the monitors jumped to
Wow!
their true
Oh.
nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on
아,
screen.
이런 느낌이구만.
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where
내가 400 몇 번이라고?
nothing.
470 몇 번이라지? 475번이라 그랬나? 472번? 그럼 딱 저기잖아 지금 저 화면 중간에. 야.
This mind control facility, it was
이게?
too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
호호.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his
Boring
emotions had
job?
been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Finally?
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't
No.
accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Never.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life
장님처럼 살아온
blind to the
건가요?
world?
와우.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls
Oh.
labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Oh.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would
This
never
machine
again exert its terrible
Exert the
power,
terrible
over
power
another
over
human
another
life.
human life.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
For all. 어떻게 분해를 하지? 적은가? 네가 바로 분해인가? 네가 분해 버튼인가? 어디에 분해 버튼이 있는 것인가? 뚜루루루루. 뚜뚜. 뭔가 열심히 눌러. 어? 1 2 뭐시야 이거는? 두루두두 두루두두. 뭔가 누르는 게 더 없나? 여기가 1, 2. 문 열어! 3 4번 어딨지? Where is the 4? 4번 어딨는겨 4번. 얘가 5번인데? 4번! 마인드 컨트롤 아이들.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
파워 업. 와우. 끝내는 것이 바로 나의 사명이니라. This.
Blackness
그리고
and a
차오르는
rising
불확실성.
chill of uncertainty.
그리고 차오르는 불확실성.
Was it over?
끝난 걸까? 와우.
Yes.
Yes.
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone
Wow.
else's command.
내가
Freedom
이겼다.
was mere moments away.
I'm
And
free.
yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how
아직
many
풀리지
puzzles still
않은
lay
퍼즐이 얼마나
unsolved.
많을까?
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
그러게요.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
I'm
Whatever
free.
life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
Adobe is free.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
문 열어라 빨리.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin. The feeling of liberation.
This is
The
산책.
immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
산책.
Stanley was happy.
Was happy. Oh yeah. I am happy. Beat the game. 좋아. Compliment Stanley Parable. 좋아. 이번에는 나레이션의 말을 다 반대로 해보겠어. 일단 길이 하나밖에 없는 데는 그냥 이쪽 쭉 가고요. 미팅 룸.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to
조용히
the
하라.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring.
이게
It had really
감탄할.
been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
가던 길로 하던 첫 번째 문으로 들어갔다고요?
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and
반대편으로
got back
직진했고
on
다시
track.
올바른 반대편 문으로 직진을 했다고요? Yes.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
여기가
So
어디죠?
now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
레프트? 뭐야 문이 이제 열렸잖아요. 아저씨.
Oh, no,
아,
it's to the
아저씨!
right mistake.
정말.
No, not the right.
마,
Why would I have ever said
니
it
나랑
was-
장난하나?
What was
내가
I
지금
thinking?
네 말 하나도 안 듣고
It's
있다 그러고
clearly-
지금은 니 나랑 장난하는 게
For a
지금.
minute, please.
빨리 문 안 열어. 문 열어.
Now let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay.
오케이.
I've got it now.
오픈.
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
오케이. 여기라고? 아저씨 뭔가 분위기가 너무 남다른데요? 오 뭐요?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here
뭐야?
yet.
Hey!
This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
눈 떠.
Okay. We just have to get
뭐야?
back to
우리 나레이터 뭐해?
It's all rubbish now.
우리 나레이션 뭐해?
How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far.
너무
off
멀리
track,
벗어나서 헤매지 말자고요?
Okay.
스폰 팬인데. 에이. 나레이션 뭐해?
What could it mean? Stanley
나레이션
decided to go to the
뭐해?
meeting. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
나레이션 뭐함?
When Stanley, wait.
뭐야 아저씨?
What? No, I restarted. I swear
아저씨,
I completely
문 닫혀
restarted the
있어요.
game over, completely fresh. Everything should be. Oh, did something change?
아저씨.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or?
버그 났다 버그.
Why am I asking you? I'm the one
뭐야
who wrote
네가
the
이야기
story.
썼잖아 아저씨.
It was right here just a minute ago.
에이, 무슨 소리 하는 거야? 빨리 문이나 열으세요 지금.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
오. 왼쪽으로 가. 모험의 시작. 뜨르르뜨뜨르뜨. 오. 오, 새로운 모험이야. 쩔어.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
왜요?
Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
아. 아.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
아저씨
could it
솔직히
mean?
나레이션 귀찮죠 이제.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Meeting
he
room.
had simply missed a memo.
Mr. Memo. 아저씨!
Okay, yep, it's
문이
worse.
없어요.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we
아저씨
just
바깥에도
came
아무것도 안
from.
보여요.
Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
어? 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 아무것도 없는데요? 아 근데 감도가 너무 빨랐고 이 게임 하는데 멀미 날라 그런다.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
뭐요?
The story. Here it comes.
여기 반대로 갈 거야? 여기 반대로 갈 거야? 이렇게 가면 어떻게 되냐? 여기까지 예상 못했니? 에이 가야겠네. 빠밤빠밤빰빰빰빰빰빰빰. 아저씨 뭐가 없는데요?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and
왜요?
retrace our steps.
온 방향으로 가서 방이 또 바뀌었는데요, 아저씨?
Now this, well, I'll be honest. I don't
아저씨
recognize this place at
뭐예요?
all.
아,
Is this the story? I don't think so.
아,
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
아저씨 뭐해?
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
뭐해?
how about this? You win! Congratulations!
예이!
You put in a lot of hard work, and it
예이!
really paid off.
내가 이겼어 이
Good job.
허접한 나레이터 녀석.
Oh no, no, I don't feel right about this.
예스.
We both know you didn't put in any actual.
당신이
work for that
승리를
win.
위해 노력한 게 없다고요?
Some people win
거짓말을
fair
하고
and
있네.
square,
내가 너를
and this
이기기
was
위해서
not
얼마나
one of
이것저것
those
막 온갖
situations.
머시기를 다 했는데.
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
아,
All right, I've got a solution.
Stanley
This time,
Parable
to make
Adventure
sure we
Line.
don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Adventure
Just follow
Line.
the line. How simple is that?
오케이.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
알았어. 아 정말. 그래 말 한번 들어줄 때 됐다. 어디 또 열릴 데 없나? 슉슉.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
To destiny.
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of
Destiny.
moving forward, Are we implying a journey such that a
뭐야,
destination is
어차피 일로
inevitably
나오게 되네.
conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature
다
of life
막아놨네
itself?
그냥 이제
Okay,
못 내려가게.
Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just
일로
stick
가다
with
보면
me.
그런 그
Now we
청소가
can
없나?
both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience
아니요,
of that
동의하지
existence,
않습니다.
right? Okay. Now, if my
뭐야?
experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Bam 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 문도 닫았고
Music.
아
Go
왜요?
back and look at that fern.
왜요? 싫어요. 아 노래 좋아하는데 왜요?
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right?
Wow.
The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
The Stanley Parable Adventure Line. 다시 돌아왔잖아요. 어떻게 된 거예요? 정말. 일로 따라가 봐. 뜨뜨르르 뜨뜨르르. Wow.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
Wow.
you, after everything we've been through...
I am
you-
472.
Oh, I can't take this
저기
anymore.
있다.
To hell with it. Restart.
Restart. Wow. Adventure Line.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever
왜요?
done for
라인
us?
따라가게
We're
해줘.
intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own
아
story?
정말?
Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
재밌고 대담하고 신비롭게?
This all sounds perfectly
어허.
doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know.
어디로 가든
How
방황을
about
해보라고요?
this direction?
글로 가라고요? 그래? 뚜루뚜뚜.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What
아무것도
do you
없는데요?
want our story to be?
아무것도
Go
없는데요?
wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new
라인이 끼어들지
story.
못하니까
No
거부권을 산다고?
lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
낄낄. 뜨뜨르르 뜨뜨르르.
Ah, a choice. We
Oh,
get to make a decision.
choice.
From here, the story is in our control. How important we
그래요?
mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay.
1분?
So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere the
문 열어!
place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse
문 열어!
door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with that
마, 문 열어라고.
door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts,
왜
the
yes라는
door on
대답이
the right
오른쪽 문이
is the correct
정답이죠?
one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
데스티니. 뭐야?
Hold up, what's
오,
this?
혼돈 엔딩.
Confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes?
뭐야? 실제로 내가 지금 이 엔딩을 본 시간이야 이게?
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing wall.
오.
Well, who consulted me?
뭐야?
Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I
나레이터가
get a
사라지고
say in
긴
all
시간 후
of this?
스탠이
Is it
사망이야?
really? No, it can't be.
뭐야?
I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
I want do it.
And the timer stopped?
오.
Does that mean did we do it? Did
와우.
we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule?
하지만
How
너는
would we
영과
even
일이야.
know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
와우.
So,
오케이.
okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I
에?
suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
에?
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the
No,
journey.
destination.
They're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do...
아. 뭐야? 아직 혼돈 엔딩 끝나지 않았나?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
뭐야, 방금 엔딩
Wow.
끝이야? 그 방금 엔딩이었어요?
Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
오, 여기 어디요? 와우. 와우.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Oh,
I
really?
realize that investing your trust in someone
really?
else can be difficult.
떨어지면 어떻게
But
되냐,
the
이거?
fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley.
어,
Everyone
떨어지면
thinks you are
죽는구나.
very powerful.
어허.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
떨어지면 죽는구나.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
그렇군.
memo.
좋아. 나는 아까 그 청소 도구함에 한번 들어가봐야겠어. 뭐야? 다른데?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
난 청소 도구함으로 들어가야겠어.
Yet there was not a single person here
청소
either.
도구함.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
야,
hoping
문
he
열어!
might find an answer there.
야, 이걸 막아라. 아. 이러면 스토리
Coming to a
끝까지 다
staircase,
다 가야
Stanley
되잖아,
walked
이거.
upstairs to his boss's office.
어. 어? I got feeling more for standing. 뭔 소리야? 아, 왜요? 됐어. 마, 문 열어놔. 난 내가 열어놓고 간다잖아. 아하, 이 아저씨, 어허, 마 기다리라. 에헤이, 그 참. 에헤이, 이 아저씨. 마, 네가 그렇게 싸움을 잘해? 왜 뭐 안 나오냐 이거? 뭐 있을 줄 알고 계속 하고 있는데 아무것도 없네. 에이.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again
아까 뭐였지?
stunned to discover
2845였나?
not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
좋았어.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy.
마,
So he
문 열어,
relaxed
빨리.
for a few moments with some
2845
calming
쳤잖아.
music.
아, 문 열어.
Feeling soothed
Hey.
and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
나레이터가 이야기할 시간을 1분도 주지 않는다. 빨리 가요, 빨리 가요. 빨리.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
escape?
Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
그래요? 하지만 확인해 보지 않으면 모르는 것이.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn
조용히
around
해라,
and get
나레이션.
back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
오. 어? I'm still alive.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no
오,
consequence.
I'm still alive.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever in his narrow
편합한
vision
시야에
of
갇혀
what this
세상을 본 거라고?
world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief
나
and
죽는겨?
shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Goodbye, Stanley. 탈출하는 방법 없나 이거?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous
거대한
metal
금속의
jaws.
입속으로 빨려
In a
들어간.
single visceral instant,
뭐야, 나레이션이
Stanley was
바뀌었어.
obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him
어?
instantly.
어?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Stanley Parable. 뒤엔 아무것도 안 보여. 뒤엔 아무것도 안 보여. 어라? 무슨 신전 같은 게 있네. 오.
When every path you can walk has been created
오,
for you
뭐야,
long
이거?
in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
에?
Do you see
조그맣네.
now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
이미 시작때부터 죽어 있었어? 이게 다 모형이야? 버튼 효과음. 크레딧. 흠결 없는 명인. 요런 게 있구만. 정비실 초기 버전. 이런 게 있어? 쩌네. 워존. 외계인과 싸움에서 끝나는 디자인을 지각력을 갖게 되어 내레이터에 대항해 전쟁을 벌이게 된 전지였습니다. 그렇군. 울트라 디럭스 발표. From Dink Dunk. Subject. 내레이터 이메일. 두 번째 예고편을 보낸 후 사람들에게 내레이터는 할 질문을 메일로 그렇군. 그렇군요. 볼 게 굉장히 많군. 스탠리 사무실. 아 실제로 받은 메일들이래? 기가 막히는구만. 아주 잘 만들어놨어. 카운트다운 룸. 초기 버전이래. 자유 엔딩. 베타에 있었던 자유 엔딩입니다. 호호. 자유 엔딩 첫 번째 구현이었고. 쩌네. 저기 가보고 싶은데. 아 자세히 여기 스폿 다 돼 있어? 그럼 여기가 진짜 그거였나 보네.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Free.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not.
안 보여요.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
안 보여요. 오.
But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way.
탈출 누르고 종료 누르라고요?
As long as you move forward, you
절대 그러지 않는다.
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
난 멈추지 않아. 난 하나의 엔딩을 더 수집하겠어. 됐어. 이렇게 엔딩을 하나 더 수집했습니다. 넘어왔군. 전화가 온다고? 어디 전화지?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your
전화가 왜 오지? 이거 아직 엔딩이 안 끝났나 본데?
1,327 cardboard boxes to your
해석해 주세요. 해석.
Can you verify that this is correct?
아저씨 어디 갔어요? 왜 또 아저씨가 저 이스트에그야? 아저씨가 없으니까 또 심심하구만. 네가 있다 없으니까.
When Stanley came to a set of
아저씨
two
안녕?
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left. 막혀 있겠지?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley
위층으로
walked
올라가.
upstairs to his boss's office.
그리고 아까 뭐였지? 2845?
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new
와우,
passageway.
서프라이즈.
Kill surprise.
와우. 서프라이즈. 갑시다 아저씨. 와우, 이제 아저씨가 내가 뭘 할지 알기 시작했어. 좋아.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
좋아. 좋아.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
좋아,
television
그다음.
screens. What
다음.
horrible secret did this place
다음.
hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength
다음,
to
다음,
find
다음.
out?
다음. 문을 열어라. 다음.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
자,
Their true nature
본성을
revealed.
드러냈어.
Each
좋아.
bore the number of an employee
자,
in the
나의
building.
동료들이야.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this
좋아.
place where freedom
다음.
meant nothing.
문을
This
열어라.
mind control facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
빨리.
Had Stanley really been under
한국
someone's
사람은
control
스피디한
all
걸
this
좋아한다.
time? Was this the only reason he was happy
빨리
with
문을
his
열어라.
job? That his emotions
나는 빨리
had
그
been
버튼
manipulated
오프가 아닌
to
ON을
accept
눌러보고
it
싶단 말이다.
blindly? No. He refused.
빨리 빨리 빨리.
He couldn't accept it. His own
빨리.
life in someone else's control.
스피디.
Never. It was unthinkable.
마.
Wasn't it?
빨리.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire
장님처럼
life
만들어 주기 전에 빨리 올려라.
blind to the world?
문 열어 문 열어.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
여긴 뭐지 근데?
Happy or sad or content. Walking,
여긴 아무것도
eating,
없나?
working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never
조용히 하라.
again exert its terrible power
조용히
over
하라.
another human life. For he would dismantle the controls
System
once
power
and for all.
on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
로딩 마인드 컨트롤 시스템.
Oh, Stanley, I help you
Yes.
regret it, I really do.
내가 바로
But you need to understand,
이 회사의
there's only so
왕이야.
much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off.
손을 털고 끄고 나가야 했다고요?
If you want
거절한다.
to throw my story off track, you're
이야기를
gonna have
엇나게
to
하고
do
싶으면 이
much
정도로
better
어림없어?
than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find
조용히
this
하라.
resonant, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the
비상 자폭
network's
시스템을
emergency
발동했다는 걸 깨달았어요?
detonation system. In the event that this machine is
적절한 DNA를
activated
식별
without
없이
proper
기계에 작동된
DNA
경우.
identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode,
그래요?
eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
그거는 좀 이따 확인해 보도록 하지.
Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
좋아.
It's your time to shine. You are
당신
the star.
스타예요.
It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had
그래?
in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
즐길 시간이 얼마
Mere
없어?
moments until the
괜찮아.
bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is.
좀 이따가 2분쯤 뒤에
More time
와가지고
to
또
talk
한번
about
해보지 뭐.
you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where
오,
to
밝아졌어.
start.
좋아.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
오호.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die
뭐야, 여기 계단이
anyway. I'll
있네.
tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
아.
Sometimes when I tell it, I simply
4번이
let you
여기
sit
있구나.
there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing
건물을 무너뜨려
everyone
사람을
inside,
삼키겠다고 그래?
or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
아까 1번,
Watching you
2번이
try
어디
to make
있었지?
sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
뚜뚜뚜.
But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go
뭐야?
around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
1,
But I'm
2.
enjoying this so much. You know what?
So
To hell with
much.
it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
그래요?
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Time was gold.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're
나
supposed
갖고
to be
놀아?
doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room
그냥 1, 2, 3,
was
4, 5를
capable of
순서대로
turning it
눌러보고
on?
싶었을 뿐이야.
I mean, look at you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored
No.
ones, or maybe this big red button, or
Big
this
red
door. Everything, anything, something here will
anything.
save me. Why would you think that, Stanley?
wow.
That this video game can be beaten? One
아무것도
solved?
없군.
Do you have any idea what your purpose
내가
in this
있는
place
이유?
is?
허허, 요놈 자식 보소.
You're in for quite a
뭐,
disappointment.
네가 날 놀릴 짬이다
But
돼?
here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action.
촉매제가 아니라고요? 그럼 뭔데요?
It's just seconds ticking away to
그래요?
death. You're only still playing instead of watching a
그러면
cutscene
뭐-
because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you
자존심
made
무너져 내린 나의 모습? 응, 해봐. 어차피
This is not
다시
a
또 오면 돼.
It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world. that's
해봐.
fine.
또 오면 돼.
But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
그래요.
Look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here.
어쩔 TV.
being blown to pieces. Will you cling
와우.
desperately to your frail life?
하지만 빨간 화면을 보고 있으면 눈이 아프니까 저 밖에서 있읍시다.
Make it count or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And
뚜루루뚜루루.
believe me, I will be laughing at every
Wow.
second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
와우. Stanley Parable. 와우.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
뚜루뚜뚜.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭐야 이거? New contents.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
New content. 와우. New content. 새로운 컨텐츠. 뭐야 이거?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
와우.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
이게 스탠리 패러블
The
개발자야.
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley
잘
Parable,
만들었는데.
delighting audiences the world over.
어허허.
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
울트라
Oh,
딜럭스.
well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
울트라
Okay,
딜럭스.
so far it's an elevator. Nothing
Elevator.
special yet,
Nothing
but I'm
special.
sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here?
Hey.
Should we be moving somewhere? Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new
Okay.
content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
오케이. 좋아요.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
오케이.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
뭐야? 점프를 계속 쓸 수 있는 게 아니었어?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
에이, 뭐야? 점프를 추가 결제하라고? 그거 참 깐깐하게 하시네. 그 뒤로 돌아갔다 오면은 추가 결제해 주실 거죠? 눈치껏 눈치껏 찡긋. 알아요. 눈치껏 찡긋. 오케이. 도착했다. 자, 가보자. 에이, 쪼잔한 놈들. 뭐야 이게?
Goodness, another elevator.
다른 엘리베이터야?
Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions
그래요?
of this game
나레이션
are
씨
not
저랑
wrong.
처음으로 지금 마음
It's
맞고
just
있어요.
elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content,
맞아요.
read you the whole dictionary. There's
정말.
hours of new content right there.
드디어
Hell,
나랑
I
마음이
could
잘
count
맞는
to
구만.
30
참.
trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra
30조까지 세 가지 숫자에 상자에 담으라뇨.
hours of new content and oh wait, there's more.
뭐가 더 있어?
Very good.
좋아.
Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
뭐는 준비가 되어 있어요? 좋아요. Thank you for enjoying the new
That's
content.
it? Oh, you've got to
Hey!
be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video
팬들을
game
존중하지 않는
developers
탐욕스러운
with
게임
no
개발자들을
respect
쉽게
for their
돈을 벌겠다는
fan base
마음으로
rush a cheap expansion
이거
to
봐
the
이거
market
지금
for
이게
no
뭐예요
reason other
확장
than to make
컨텐츠가
a $1. And don't get me started on the level of
어허 이
In fact,
사람들
I'm looking right now at the game's achievements.
그쵸.
And it's hard to believe one of them actually says test achievement.
업적 중 하나에
please
테스트용 업적이
ignore.
무시할 것이라고
What
써있다고?
quality assurance department signed
품질
off on
보증서가
this?
이걸 통과시켜?
I'm infuriated.
야,
I'm
이거
offended,
참.
and I intend to find these people on Twitter.
좋아요
and
좋아요
hold them
나레이션 씨 이거
personally
꼭 트위터에서
accountable.
개인적으로 찾아내가지고
It's my
물어보고
fault,
저한테 꼭
Stanley.
답 좀
I
해줘요.
built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid.
야, 기가
It could
막히네.
never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just
No
you and
gimmicks.
me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
뭐야? 네가 리셋 시키는 거였어? 어이, 방이 다른데요? 아저씨? 아저씨 방이 달라요.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
그래요? 뭐지? 둠드르둠드르둠 드르둠드르둠드르둠.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite
그래요?
memories so I can relive the peak
야
experiences
나레이션
of my
아저씨 아주
life
좀 좋은 거
whenever I
만들어놨는데.
want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
야 이거 우리 나레이션 아저씨가 많이 좀 서글펐구만. 아 이게 데모 때 그거 느낌이구나. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. 5년 동안 플레이하지 마세요. 이게 첫 업적들이었나 보네 이게. 이게 말 안 들었을 때 나오는 도전 과제.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10
오,
from
게임들이 이런 게 다 해놨구나.
Destructoid.com.
게임 잘 만들었다.
Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever
잘 만들었어,
created."
잘 만들었어.
Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore.
우리 나레이션 아저씨가
It's
많이
just a
살폈구만.
husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
진짜 욕을 그냥 막 해버리네. 야, 버튼들도 있고 문 2개. 스탠리 패러블 플레이. 뭐야 마인크래프트다. 이스터에그다 이스터에그. 야 이게 또 마크 유튜브 온다고 또 마크 유튜브 해놨구만. 아 삭제된 마크 엔딩이 있어? 그래? 지금은 못 봐 그러면? 아쉽네.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the
저작권
nature
이슈
of
때문에.
choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices
아쉽네.
I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust
이게
in the
지금 추가된
hallowed
콘텐츠인
hall
거잖아.
of beloved video game
잘
memories.
만들었네.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
어?
What's this? What's down here?
아저씨 기억이 없어요? 뭐야 이거?
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
하지만 스팀은 만만치 않지.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where
역시
I'd have
스팀의
to
사람들은 호락호락하지 않지. 스팀은 호락호락하지 않아.
Okay, let's see what this one says. Well, the idea for the game is good. For someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking.
내레이션
for me.
재밌는데.
I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it
상처 많이 받았나 본데.
Maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
아까까지 나레이션 싸웠다고? 그건 재미를 위한 거지.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happened. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley.
Anything.
Yes, a skip button we shall have.
오, 스킵 버튼.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long
들어볼걸.
monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
계속 떠들어보거라.
Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay. So my theory is
자, 어디
that
한번
any
이야기해보거라.
choice you've ever made
내
is
끝까지
simply
듣고
a
너를
series of choices
감동
made by the
먹여주리라.
person
나레이션.
you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being,
선택을
then by
구체화해.
making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of
얼마나
person,
떠드는가
and in
보자.
fact do the very opposite. You see, it could in
실제로 두
fact
가지
be
존재할
both
수
of these
있어요.
things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort
자도
of
되냐고?
tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto.
자, 과연 네가
Heavens,
얼마나
at this rate, we're going to be here all day.
하는지 보자.
Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the
버틴다.
other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise, manifesto.
자, 과연 얼마나 할지 볼까나?
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise,
Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto.
Manifesto.
Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise,
Manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto.
이거 반복된 녹음일까? 아니면 그 아저씨가 계속 하고 있는 걸까 이거?
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise,
Manifesto.
Treatise,
Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise.
근데 이게 반복 녹음인 것 같긴 한데 음이 살짝씩 있긴 해. 그러니까 일정 마디를 반복 녹음한 것 같긴 한데.
Manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise,
manifesto. Treatise,
manifesto.
manifesto. manifesto. 지금 이제 반복이네 다시 또.
Treatise,
manifesto. 내가 볼 때 한 10번 정도 반복시키면은 이 친구 정신 차리지 않을까?
Manifesto. Treatise.
manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise.
Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto.
트위터가 논문이야?
Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise.
manifesto.
Treatise.
manifesto.
그 친구보다 내가 먼저 정신병 걸릴 것 같아.
살려주시라온님.
Treatise.
천치즈 감사합니다. 고맙습니다.
Treatise.
먼저 정신병 걸려갔다고?
Treatise. Manifesto.
넘겨줄까?
Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto.
넘겨줄까?
Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto.
제발?
Treatise.
제발 넘겨달라고?
Manifesto.
그러면 나 화장실 좀 갔다 올게 얘들아.
Manifesto. Treatise. 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 manifesto, treatise, 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 manifesto,
박구모
treatise,
저주한다.
treatise, manifesto, 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 treatise, manifesto,
treatise, manifestos, treatise, manifestos, treatise, manifestos, treatise, manifestos. 넘어갑시다.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps.
또 한번 장황하게
I
떠들어보라.
don't even know if one can change their review in the first
나는
place.
그동안 초코파이나
I guess
먹어야겠다.
I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much... Stanley!
Well.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times.
Hello?
And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button. And if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time.
그래요?
Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how
어허,
it's always
화분
been.
죽었네.
Me talking,
진짜 오래
you
지났나
saying
보다.
nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me
많이 힘들어
just
보이긴 해.
talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close.
이제 감성팔이 하는 게
Because
이제?
I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel
그래?
through which my words were moving.
아무것도 보이지 않아.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped
그래요?
keeping track after a year.
1년이 지났어요?
Sat down in one place and not move for one entire
야.
year. Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the
오랫동안
longest
후회밖에
time,
없었어요. 그래요?
Stanley. Days.
Hey, hey, Mr. Narrator. 어? 나레이터.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability.
나레이션이 쌓인 게
unwillingness to
많았네.
examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent...
근데 진짜 게임 개발자들의 약간 슬픔 같긴 해. 아, 누나 2개월 차 구독 고맙고. 아!
The end is never the end, 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 is never the
자, 과연 기다리면 어떻게 되는가? 반복인 것 같네요. 넘어갑니다. Hey, Mr. Narrator. 이 건물이 박살날 것 같아요.
욕할 뻔.
살려주시라님 1000치즈 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. And is never the end. 다음. 오. 건물이 박살이가 나버렸어. 야, 여기 굉장히 오랫동안 서 있나봐. 오. 따사로운 햇빛이 우릴 비추고 호. 드르르르르르르르. 와우, 시간이 얼마나 지나는 게 도대체. 이 정도로 풍화되고 한 거면 진짜 못해도 한 4, 5, 한 거진 한 5, 60년 동안은 아무것도 안 건드렸나 본데 여기? 다음! 뭐요? 갑자기 또 멸망했어. 뭐요? 좋아! 뭐요? 햇빛이 안 들어와. 뭐요? 이걸 계속 누르면은 뭔가 자꾸 바뀌나? 뭐야? 어? 야, 아무것도 안 남은 사막이 돼버렸네. 나레이터 살아있어? 더 이상은 아무것도 할 수가 없는 상태가 되었구만. Hey, 나레이터! 시간이 얼마나 지난겨? Hey, 나레이터. 야, 시간 많이 지났는갑네. 근데 아무것도 안 건들고 있으면은 더 좋은 그게 돼야 되는 거 아닌가? 어이.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
아,
missed the
이게
memo.
새로 생긴 엔딩이야? 오. New contents.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
어허. 좀 더 흥미로운 거 보자. New contents. 뚜루뚜루뚜. 됐어.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and
Uh-huh,
about
uh-huh.
how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be.
Uh-huh,
The
uh-huh.
original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content
새로운
for it
콘텐츠
should live
유산에
up to that
부합해야죠.
legacy. So forget
Uh-huh,
this
uh-huh.
ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even
뭐요?
further.
갑자기 색깔이 바뀌었어요.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
2? 와우.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few
쥐꼬리만
minor
추가 내용은 담은
additions?
거다
Think of
훨씬.
all the new territory
야,
that
잘
covered with a
만들었다잉.
fully-fledged sequel, an entirely new
기가
experience
막히는구만.
built from the ground up. Why there are so many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions.
굉장히 잘
This
만들었는데?
is what fans have truly been asking for.
아주 멋있는 걸. 로. 기가 막혀.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's
그래요?
take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it.
좋아
I
좋아.
figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting
New
concepts,
features.
that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
잘 만들어내.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
New features. 뜨르른 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 뜨르르.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want?
Too
And
big,
of course,
too
first
small,
and most obvious
just
answer
right.
is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people.
오.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now,
Jim.
the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever
그래요?
name that is.
캬.
Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the
나
full
짐이야?
experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
짐이라는 사람이 되어보라고요?
I want you to imagine yourself living
I
as
am
Jim.
Jim.
Sleeping and waking as Jim.
Yeah.
Falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's
근데 난 난데
possibilities as Jim.
누가
and
나를
as Jim,
짐으로 바꾸려고 하는
watching
거야?
your dreams crumble into
왜 내
dust.
꿈이 무너지는 걸 봐야 하지?
You feel it deeply? Are you
아니요?
really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please. Yes, you see. What
아이,
a thrill! What a
문
rush!
열어!
That was you. The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
뚜베리긴. Hey.
It hits even harder the second
이거
time.
도대체 뭐가
If
강렬해?
this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth.
문 열어!
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal
문
validation.
열어. 난 나갈 거야. 이놈의 자식. 짐은
I
별로
suppose I
재미가
could allow
없어.
only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable. An
Epilogue.
would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the well, we'll figure that out later.
오, free, new, easy, achievement, get it here. 무료 업적 세계 설정 챔피언. 설정 세계 챔피언. 안 나와. 무료 업적. Free.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yeah. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world.
Achievement.
Uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
아, 아직 개발 중. 에이, 거짓말 치게 지금? 아, 참. 아, 언제 패치돼? 뭐. 아, 진짜 게임사가 플레이어들의 마음도 모르고 참. 아. 언제 고침?
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
점프 서클.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable.
다시 가져온다고요? 아니 남은 게 없어요?
Oh wait, you already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well.
주세요.
I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
장식으로 둔다고요? 하참나. 어딜 가야 되지? 익스트. 나가게 해줘. 여기가 출구구나.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
Ultra Deluxe?
Deluxe? What does it even mean? But oh goodness, Stanley, this is very awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to both the exhibits for the bucket and the collectibles. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves both of them. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the collectibles and the bucket. Okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
양동이가 어디냐고. 스탠리 패러블 안심 양동이 저쪽이네. 이쪽이구나. 안심 양동이.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind.
이걸 들고 있을 때마다.
It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
안심 양동이.
You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually wanting the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
뭘 시험해봐요.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must always be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do?
나레이션 아저씨 아까까진 정말 참 미안하고 좀 슬퍼 보이고 그랬지만 지금은 그냥 빨리 나와주면 좋겠어.
Made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
이제 날 놔줬으면 좋겠어.
Await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video? Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you know which one you actually really wanted all along. Get well someday it is.
의견도 안 들을 거면은 왜 그러는겨? 어이가 없네.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with no. I've made my decision. We're moving on.
익스트. 빨리 가자. 이제 가자. 뚜루루루루루루루루루루루. 웬 가방?
No? You're just going to ignore my advice? Fine. No fun new content for you then. You're the one who spent money on this game. So Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new
나는 빨리
features?
게임을 이제
Yes, I
끝내고
know it's
싶어.
not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there
Soul.
somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
좀 이상한데?
Okay, yes. This is much better. I feel good about it.
좀 이상한데?
Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding,
Well.
Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
이게
I
스탠리
wanted
2?
more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the
전혀
first
담겨
game.
있지 않잖아,
I wanted
지금.
fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
말 많구만.
With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
문 안 열리냐?
Possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable 2.
아따.
Let me see if I can whip something up.
말이 많소.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
와우. 이렇게 건든다고? 자, 오늘 스탠리 패러블 여기까지 즐겨보도록 하겠습니다. 여러분들 재미가 있었고요. 바로 그냥 게임을 꺼보도록 하겠습니다. 재미가 있었고요. 스탠리 패러블 울트라 디럭스를 즐겨봤고, 그리고 나레이션의 말은 끝까지 들어보지 않도록 하겠습니다. 나레이션은 스탠리 패러블 2를 기점으로 게임을 스타트를 하라고 해주었지만 저는 바로 바탕화면으로 종료를 눌러버리는 그런 아주 기가 센 스탠리가 되어보도록 하겠습니다. 재미가 있었고요. 오늘 게임은 여기까지만 하겠습니다. 그럼 이만.